Hi. I don't know when you're watching this, but if you're available July 20th, 2025, I'm hosting a Heal Your Inner Teen workshop. And I was just going over some of the slides and contemplating about my own inner teenager. And my inner teenager went through a bunch of identity crises. She was like, I have five different inner teenagers because I was constantly changing who I was. I was constantly changing my identity to try to fit in and figure out who I was. Maybe you can relate. I was super emo at one point in my teenage years. I was super punk rock. I was a goth chick for a little while. I wore like long velvet dresses with belled sleeves from Hot Topic, obviously. I wore a lot of patchouli. I used to be like a patchwork pants kind of girl. Like I was like a hippie for a little bit. Anyway, and then I was a meth head and a drug addict, obviously. So, this inner teen workshop is coming on the heels of the fact that I see that there's a lot of aspects of my life where I still react out of the inner teen. And she shows up in ways of saying, like, you're not good enough, you're not worth it, nobody sees me, nobody sees the real me, nobody gets me. That's all inner teen stuff. And she shows up in relationships because I was never comfortable with intimacy and friendships. I was always running away from my friendships. So I only have like one girlfriend from my teenage years who's still in my life. Big ups, Ginge. And other than that, like I just constantly ran away from other people. And I was always trying to mimic my parents' relationship in friendships and stuff. So I'll say this too. Something that came up for me recently was I was like hanging out with like an older person and even my mentor has said this to me a couple times before, but they were saying that they couldn't believe that I'm actually like over my parents' suicide. And it actually brings up feelings of like sadness inside of me that people don't actually, people, especially healers, don't actually think that you can heal. And I believe in miracles. I know that miracles exist. And I just, when you have a really dense part of your story, I've done so much healing around what happened. And I also died and saw my parents when I died. And I talk to them all the time in spirit. They're constantly sending me signs and symbols. My mom comes through in cans of Aquanet. I mean, imagine seeing a can of Aquanet hairspray like in 2025. It's nearly impossible, but she does all the time. That's how she comes through to me. She was like really into Bon Jovi hair. And my dad comes through in the form of a fox. And they're always with me. And so why would I hold a grudge when I know that in spirit they're perfect? And here they were just playing parts. So I don't have to be super attached to the story. Like, yeah, it was fucked up. It sent me spiraling into drug addiction. I abandoned my sister. I caused tons of wreckage in my life as a result of their death. But now that I'm on a journey of healing, I don't need to be held captive by that anymore. And if healers truly believe in healing, then they should know that we can heal from these things. Like, really, truly, you can heal from your trauma. You can talk about it from a place of healing. You can share it with other people how to heal. And that's what it's all about. So, anyway, I guess I just wanted to say that. I recently had a friend who passed away from suicide, but everybody's acting like that's not what he did. And I think that there's still a lot of shame that comes up and stigma that comes up when it comes to suicide. And as like some people were kind of saying that he died of natural causes, like what are the natural causes that like a man in his late 50s dies from? Doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what are they? And anyway, I don't know. There's nothing, I mean, like, there's nothing good about it, but there's also nothing wrong with it. Like, it doesn't need to be stigmatized. We need to talk about it more. We need to get it out in the open so that we can help people who are actually going through this super weighted anguish and despair in their lives. Anyway, this was like a whole tangent, but my inner teenager's here for it. She feels very righteous in what she's saying. And you really are worthy of all the love in the universe. Really, truly, you actually are worthy. So, so worthy. If I'm worthy, you're definitely worthy. You got a leg up on me. So start stepping into that power and owning that worth. And if you're interested, come and check out my workshop tomorrow. And I always save some scholarships in case you're in a place where you can't financially afford to come to a workshop. We all deserve to heal, every single one of us. So just reach out to me and we'll get you set up. UAV.